Welcome to This Song Is Yours, the podcast where we dive deep into the art of songwriting, chat with some of the most exciting artists in the world, and explore the stories behind their songs. I'm your host, Simon Fink, and as always, thank you so much for joining us. Our guests this week are Swapmeet. One of the buzziest bands coming out of Australia right now, the Adelaide four-piece make indie music that moves freely across indie rock, grunge, shoegaze and more without ever feeling cluttered or like too many ideas are pulling the songs in different directions. Earlier this year, they made history by becoming the first non-US act to sign to beloved indie label Winspear, and their debut record, Mount Zero, has since arrived to considerable praise, with outlets like Pitchfork and the Line of Best Fit taking notice, and even Broken Social Scene throwing their support behind this band. It is an incredible record, one that we love, and one where the four members rotate vocal duties throughout and swap instruments, and it's not hard to hear why people are falling for this record so quickly. Today, we are sitting down with Jack Medlyn and Maxwell Elphick from Swapmeet to talk about the making of Mount Zero, how it feels to be at the centre of that kind of hype and attention, the patchwork of sounds across this record that have been winning people over, and the exciting new class of musicians coming out of South Australia right now. We want to say a massive thank you to Maya for her help with today's episode. Mount Zero is out right now, and you'll find links within today's show notes on where you can stream the record, buy the vinyl, and keep up to date with everything that Swapmeet have going on at the moment. And while you are in the show notes, please make sure you're subscribed to this very podcast, to This Song Is Yours, and come follow us on Instagram and on TikTok. It really does help us out. It keeps you up to date with all of our new episodes, guests, and everything else that we have going on. We've also got our playlist feature and our merch across our website, so you can find that in the show notes as well, thissongisyours.com. But let's not keep you any longer. Here is our conversation with Jack and Maxwell from Swapmeet. Please welcome to This Song Is Yours, Jack Medlyn and Maxwell Elphick from Swapmeet. Gentlemen, good morning. Hello. How's it going? Welcome to the podcast.
Thank you.
Good morning. Thank you.
I'm super excited to have you guys on the pod today. There is a lot of chatter. There is a lot of buzz, a lot of hype, and I'm sure that you guys are feeling it on your side as well in relation to Swapmeet and the brand new record that's out now, Mount Zero. Firstly, congratulations on this debut record. It is it's a fantastic collection of songs and fantastic piece of music. How's it all feeling from your perspective? I'm wondering what's it like in Team Swapmeet at the moment.
It's good. We all had tacos together last night. That was great.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't know. It just feels like we finally did it. We finally made an album.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, definitely. Like, it feels pretty surreal. It didn't feel quite real until we kind of did those in-store shows over the last weekend, and we saw that people were actually listening to it, which was really cool. And yeah, made it feel very real.
I kind of like that though. I also kind of, tacos, food of the people, still keeping yourself grounded, even though there is a lot of buzz and hype around the album. So I kind of love that. It is a fantastic record. I want to say that, and this is not simply being hyperbolic because we're chatting to you today, the hype does seem real. It's not just myself. It's not a number of other outlets and fans in those record stores. I wanted to go through a very small list. Who do we have? We had Stereogum, Line of Best Fit, Pitchfork have been very complimentary, Paste, Rolling Stone. Is it a weird thing to see the album that you've worked on be heaped with praise? Like that it does kind of, I imagine it's somewhat of a surreal experience to see so many different people around the world kind of connect with the music and also like what you're doing as well.
Yeah, it's definitely like surprising, and I don't know. It's not something that I ever expected to have a Pitchfork review. I think that's that's so cool. I'm really glad. Yeah. I don't know. It's just surprising. It's just all like coming at us, and it's good.
Has there been anything that has kind of taken you by surprise? Maybe I'll ask individually. Maxwell, we'll start with you. Has there been anything that's kind of taken you guys by surprise in terms of, I guess, like admiration or praise from one kind of outlet? Maybe it's a different person or different artist that's gone, oh yeah, we love Swapmeet. that's taken you back or been like, oh shit, this is serious?
Yeah, I feel like the biggest ones has been kind of like those public forums and stuff that are posting about the album, like either rate your music or album of the year or all those, even just like YouTube, like people commenting. I'm not used to that, and it's been really cool. It makes it feel like there are people on the other side of the world that are listening to it and enjoying it, and yet finding their own little world in the album, which is really, really interesting.
100%. Jack, was there any for yourself?
I was going to say the singer from Broken Social Scene, like, shared us to their story, which was like pretty crazy. Yeah.
That one's,
shout out.
Yeah, that one's pretty cool. You kind of like, you can't deny the power of that one. The album, it's funny that it was Broken Social Scene. There were elements of back catalogue when listening to Mount Zero, in a way, not completely, obviously, like BSS, but the album that we're talking about is called Mount Zero, for anyone that might have missed it. And it is an incredible, I don't know what the most complimentary way that I can say it is, but it's like a mismatch of sounds and sonics. You've got different elements of indie rock, there's grunge, there's shoegaze, there's elements of, like, I want to say even little bits of 2000s twee, which you masterfully kind of blend together. Sometimes having that many different influences, that many different genres, it can overwhelm the listener. It can almost like topple over. And I feel that this album has done a very good job of balancing that and finding the right way to almost kind of mix genres even in one song. Was that the outset for the album? I know that the previous EP was a little bit more like playing within the realms of one or two genres, but then this has really blown out and expanded that sound. Did you know when you were making the album that you wanted to kind of go different places and try different things sonically with the band?
I feel like it wasn't like super intentional. It was kind of just a product of too many cooks in the kitchen, but like it worked in a really good way for us. Like when we were recording, we're kind of just like all in the room and everyone's throwing out every single idea that they have, like kind of on the canvas. And because we're all like individually listening to a lot of different types of music, it all kind of found its way in there without one of us kind of taking the lead and being like, oh, I want it to sound like this record or this record. It was kind of just a big amalgamation of all of our tastes.
I feel like there wasn't really any times, except for this one time we tried to get like a Wilco guitar sound. There wasn't really many times that we were like, oh, we got to try and make this bit sound like this artist or anything like that.
I kind of love that though. I think that from an outsider's perspective, it does give off the impression that it's a very democratic kind of process within the band, that it's everything's shared. Everyone kind of brings different things to the table. And I'm aware that for anyone who hasn't seen the band live, or you can even kind of somewhat audibly recognize it on the record, there are rotations between singers, between who's playing what instrument, which is kind of, I imagine, both a fun thing and an exciting thing, but then maybe also has its logistical problems as well when you are kind of doing that.
A little bit. Like we've gotten really good at the swapping instruments. We used to swap like 5 times during a set, just kind of mucking around, and there'd be like more walking around the stage than actually playing. But now we've gotten it down to just the one swap, and it almost feels weird if we didn't have that anymore. Like we've been doing it for so long and it feels so natural and right for the band.
We're always like set stage in a way so we can like swap easily.
I feel like you almost need to maybe for the second album, maybe we'll discuss it with management, like like an Ed Sheeran like rotating stage, and you guys can just like step off part of it. The instruments come around to you and you can just step forward to play them, which, you know, might make it slightly easier logistically.
Yeah, that's the goal. One day we'll have our own stages with like full kits.
Yeah, exactly.
That's Josh's idea.
The album has, as I said, been receiving a lot of like acclaim worldwide as well. And one thing that's been really exciting about this is the fact that you were the first band to sign to Winspear, which is an incredibly prestigious and beloved indie label in the US. Being their first non-US signing was kind of a big deal. How did that transpire? I imagine like getting the call back saying, "Yep, we're interested," must have been a really kind of exciting thing to happen. But yeah, how did it actually get to that point where they had heard your music, and then how did that transpire from there?
I met Jared from Winspear in LA, and like this was just like I was just kind of holidaying with my partner, and I don't know, just checking it out. But also like we were there at the same time as our manager, and we like met up with Jared, and he like from the outset was like super surprisingly interested, like just from the first meeting. And yeah, it just kind of like went from there. Like I didn't realize how many artists that I knew and like loved their music were actually just on Winspear. Yeah, it was kind of just like this instant like, oh, this makes sense. Like this person is like really interested in our music, or obviously loves music, loves helping musicians. Like, yeah, this would be great.
It is the kind of perfect fit when you do listen to some of the artists that they have on the label. Wishy is one that comes to mind, fantastic band. I imagine that it must be like, obviously you both seem like very humble gentlemen, and the band doesn't seem to have an ego about it. But I imagine it must be like a cool little, almost like a flex to be that first band that's like signed to their label when they usually only sign American bands.
I don't know. We're not flexing it, but it's it's good. I'm really glad.
I can appreciate the humble nature of it. I totally get that. Wondering whether you might then talk us through, I know we spoke about the different like kaleidoscope of sound, talking through the recording process, because I think in a number of different bits of press you've spoken about how it kind of did come together in a bit of a like mismatched way. There were different voice notes, people bringing different things to the table. We are I should have mentioned this at the top that Swapmeet is an Adelaide-based band. We're an Adelaide-based podcast, so there might be some Adelaide references throughout today's episode. And for those people who don't understand, that's all right. Email or message either side and we'll sort it out. But recording in Port Noarlunga, I imagine, depending on what time of year, has a very different vibe for an album as well.
Yeah. We were recording it during winter. So it was cold and like kind of miserable, but it was also pretty beautiful in a way. Like we still got to see like the sunset on the beach every night, and yeah, it was just super pretty. And I know it was, being in Port Noarlunga was kind of perfect. It's not like too far away that you're like out of Adelaide and disconnected from everyone, but it's like not close enough that like you're always distracted. So yeah, it was really cool.
We were like coming back every Wednesday night to play like netball games with our like social team. It was like, that was like the best break. That was like the only breaks that we had from just recording. It was good.
Did your other teammates have any idea what you were doing outside of netball on a Wednesday night?
I feel like, I don't know, I feel like it was kind of like we were just on a holiday in Port Noarlunga.
Yeah, I don't know if I think we kind of told them that we were doing it. We were recording. Yeah, I don't know.
I kind of love that though. I'm hoping that with quite a bit of travel and touring that you guys have coming up, that you've found replacements for mixed netball, because obviously that's also, you've got to keep that going as well on the side. With the album, wondering whether you might kind of talk me through one of my favourite tracks on the record. It was the final track, My Heart Breaks Too. I know that you spoke before of like a Wilco kind of sound for some of the tracks. To me, that gave off strong alt country vibes before kicking into that more upbeat indie kind of second half of it. But wondering, whether one of you might be able to share the inspiration or the creation behind that track.
Yeah. That one was the one with the Wilco guitar part. Yes, yeah. Interestingly enough, it was funny that was like the last song written for the album, and it was written during the week we were recording everything, and it was a collection of pretty much like 3 different songs that we'd like jammed during that week and like come up with, and we was like piecing different parts together. So it like the first version of it was pretty disjointed, pretty junky, pretty odd, but then we'd just like find little ways to almost like piece different parts together, a bit like a DJ set in a way. Just like like little tempo changes, and but yeah, it was super fun to record that one.
Yeah, the Wilco reference is it's the song "Ashes of American Flags," and it's like this I don't know, this sweeping guitar bit that happens at the start. But yeah, we were just trying to get that exact sound, and we failed, but it still sounds all right.
Oh, it is still a beautiful track. So there is I wouldn't say there's any failure there, but that's only purely from a listener's perspective. It does appear that the band and the two members that I'm speaking to, that there does seem to be a love or an admiration, and that the references are a little bit older, like that you're looking at bands that have come through in like the late 80s, maybe the 90s or early 2000s, wondering whether you might share, and we'll do this alphabetically. So Jack, I might start with you, talking about your introduction to music and what inspired you to get involved, and then I guess start or be involved with Swapmeet.
My introduction to music was definitely like a lot of 80s and 90s music that my dad just had on like a USB in his car. And it was like 400 songs, and that was like the only music I listened to for like the first like 15 years of my life. And I don't know, I can't remember most of the artists. There's probably heaps of AC/DC. I don't know, but honestly, like those sorts of like 80s and 90s, like actually digging into albums by those artists is a really like recent thing for me. Like Wilco and like Pavement and stuff. Like I hadn't really listened to much Pavement until like, I don't know, like this month. Mm-hmm. So I don't know. I'm getting through it. I'm trying to like give myself a bit of a musical education at the moment of like those periods.
I kind of love that though. Was there any clear moment from when listening to those bands in your dad's car that you went, oh, I can do that? Was there like a clear line of you trying to do music yourself from there?
Oh, I don't even know. I think I got really into like Jimi Hendrix. And then when I remember I learned how to play Little Wing, and I was like, oh, I can play guitar. I can play a good song on guitar. That was a huge moment for me, like learning how to play Little Wing. Crazy. I don't know. From that point on, it was just like, I don't know, I just wanted to keep learning songs.
I think that's very fair. I think that's probably a very impressive song to learn to kick things off with. So I kind of love that. Maxwell, what about yourself?
I feel like mine was kind of similar. The first CD I ever remember having was the Jet CD. I think the album's called Get Born. It's like that huge one. That's like all my early memories of music when I was like 2 years old and like dancing in like our lounge room as a kid. I like loved that album. And then I don't know, I started playing guitar when I was maybe, I think 6 years old. And then my uncle just decided to give me a bunch of CDs, which were all like, Jimi Hendrix, like Led Zeppelin, and just like get me kind of all the classics. And then he started getting me like Weezer and Pavement and stuff like that, which I got really into. But then I feel like, I know the time mainly where I was like, oh, I really want to do the band thing and not just like play guitar was like the first live show I went to as a teenager. Like I saw Hockey Dad at the Gov in Adelaide, and I was like, this is awesome. This is like all I want to do. This just seems so fun. And like, yeah, it definitely made me think like, oh, you can be in a band and make your own music, which was super inspiring.
I kind of love that it seems like similar but slightly different variations of where you guys have come from to then create the band. Has there been any, and this is maybe not to get too serious or downtrodden or whatever you kind of want to classify it as, but I think for anyone that has been or currently is in an Adelaide band is that there is there's like a double-edged sword. At the moment, Adelaide does seem to be having a moment of incredible success with different artists. We've got yourselves, we've got Swapmeet, Any Young Mechanic seem to be doing really well with their kind of folk rock thing. Alexia killing it pop-wise. Pash killing it like pop rock-wise. Like it seems to be a really great moment to be someone in the Adelaide music scene, but it hasn't always been that case. And I think if you look over the last 10 years, we've maybe still hanging on to the Hilltop Hoods for a little bit longer than we probably should have. Wondering whether you've found, obviously, things are going quite well now. But before that Winspear piece, I guess the trials of the Adelaide music scene and how it was a little bit more difficult than if the band was based in Sydney or in Melbourne.
Yeah, I think like there's definitely a blessing to it being in Adelaide. Like it's very disconnected from the rest of Australia, and like I guess the scenes that like are intertwined, I guess, and especially a few years ago, it felt like there was a big gap between the two. But I don't know, we've been super lucky. Like all the bands that we play with in Adelaide, and we like are pretty much the ones we started playing with. Like we all started around the same time. We're still doing gigs together, and it's a really cool like little scene of just a bunch of friends wanting to show each other cool music and make cool music. There wasn't any real like outside pressure from industry or anything like that. It was more so just about like having fun shows and recording, like learning to record music yourself. But then yeah, I think over the last few years we've gotten really lucky that there's kind of been that gap bridge between like us in Melbourne and us in Sydney, with just I know friends, bands in those cities that are just like wanting to make the same thing and do fun shows. But it definitely feels like Adelaide is on the up. Like I love it. I love all the music here, and I want it to keep going up.
Jack, can I get your opinion on it? Any thoughts? Any additional add-ons?
Yeah, I think it's like I think for us it's just been like a blessing to be Adelaide people. Like Maxwell said, like I think just not having any like I don't know. I feel like in other cities there's like there's music being made all the time. There's like lots and lots of people in the music scene. There's lots of people who are like on the up, who are, I don't know, getting big or whatever. And I feel like here there's like, at least when we started, there wasn't really like much going on like to really like kind of look up to or like to know about in the scene. And I think that just like for us, just like, I don't know, when we could kind of do whatever we want without like trying to live up to anything else. Yeah, so it's just like been a spiral of us journeying without expectations, which is great.
I think we have had Alexia and Pash on the podcast in previous number of months, and maybe like a similar sentiment in terms of, because there is that lack of pressure, that it allows things to kind of bloom more organically or kind of grow in a more natural way, that then the music actually does connect with people in a more natural way as well, which I think is really exciting. So thank you for sharing, to both of you, for sharing your thoughts on that matter. I know that there is an Adelaide tour date as well as dates around the country happening in September, which is very exciting. And then across October and November, you've got the US, you've got the UK, Europe. Is there a certain song from the record that is you're kind of looking forward to playing the most? Is there like a highlight for the band that you really love playing in that live space?
I really like playing Personal. That one we like just sort of added into our like live repertoire since the album's come out, and it goes so hard live. It's great. I love it.
I love that.
Yeah, that one's fun. We like added a bunch of little stops to it now, and yeah, it's just a cool song to play.
With these dates overseas and obviously the profile of the band getting bigger, are there things that you want to try out maybe differently or experiment with when it does come? Or is it more so for this tour, maybe specifically just sticking to what the band knows and having just the one change, as we said, in terms of instruments and how that plays?
We'll see. I think we're going to do some writing this next month, hopefully. So see if any of that makes it into the set. We might also just like, I don't know, we've been like experimenting with like interludes and I don't know, stuff on a sample pad. So I don't know.
Look, that is very, very exciting. We will make sure that there are links in today's show notes for people to purchase tickets. We're going to be heading to your Adelaide show, so very excited to catch you guys there. Wondering whether you might share with us, we usually wrap things up asking our guests what they're currently listening to. Jack, I'll start with yourself and then Max, I'll end with yourself. Is there anything that's on high rotation? Anything that you're currently loving at the moment?
I realized that I skimmed the 2 ML Book albums like years ago. And I'd like literally yesterday and this morning, I've just been like trying to get through them again because I realized I haven't listened to them properly. So
great records.
High rotation though has been the album Diamond Jubilee by Cindy Lee.
Mm-hmm.
It's incredible. It's like 2 hours long, and it's just like it's crazy. It's so good.
Solid choices there. Solid choices. Maxwell, what about yourself?
I've been listening to like Tokyo Police Club a lot. I've been listening to like the album A Lesson in Crime nonstop. I like found a live video of them like a few weeks ago, and yeah, I can't stop listening. I don't know, it's been one of the first albums in a long time that I've really, really gotten into. And yeah, I'm just like jealous that I didn't write it, I guess. It's just great, yeah.
Very fun band, I find, Tokyo Police Club. Very fun to listen to as well. Gentlemen, thank you very much for sharing that, and thank you very much for coming onto the podcast. The brand new Swapmeet record is called Mount Zero. It is out right now, and we'll make sure there are links in today's show notes for people to purchase the record, follow you on social media, buy tickets to those shows that we discussed, wherever they are in the world. But Jack and Maxwell, thank you very much for coming onto the podcast. I appreciate it.
Sick. Thank you so much for having us.
Thank you.